I want to deal with a story briefly that is both tawdry and serious, the Westminster honeytrap scandal, which has now produced a formal prosecution. And at the heart of it is Oliver Steadman, a 28-year-old former Labour councillor in Islington who now stands accused of blackmail and multiple communications offences. The scandal first broke in 2024 when a string of men in politics, MPs, journalists and party staffers began to speak of mysterious WhatsApp approaches, and the messages, often flirtatious or suggestive, came from people calling themselves Charlie or Abby, and recipients reported that the messages were oddly specific. They mentioned bars at party conferences, campaign roles, or meetings that might have taken place in hazy, alcohol-fueled moments. It was the classic conman's trick, personalised just enough detail to make the stranger feel oddly familiar. One senior Conservative MP, William Wragg, confessed that he had succumbed. Wragg admitted he had exchanged explicit images and, more significantly, had handed over the personal phone numbers of parliamentary colleagues. He later resigned the Conservative whip, and by the general election of 2024 he had left politics altogether. Another Tory, Luke Evans, said he too had been targeted, and suddenly the scandal no longer seemed like an embarrassment, it looked like a matter of parliamentary security. The Metropolitan Police began an inquiry in April 2024. Their investigators worked through a mess of screenshots, chat histories and testimony from shaken MPs. 17 months later, they have charged Steadman with one count of blackmail involving alleged demands for up to a dozen individuals' phone numbers and 5 separate offences under communications law relating to the sending of indecent images. It's no trivial matter. Blackmail is a serious offence punishable by lengthy imprisonment. It goes to the heart of how political life operates. Parliament relies on trust. MPs and advisers exchange numbers, communicate freely and sometimes make themselves vulnerable. A honey trap corrodes that trust. It exposes human weakness, loneliness, vanity, perhaps recklessness, and weaponises it. For Labour, there is political damage. Steadman was not some anonymous activist. He was an elected councillor and a campaign manager for the mental health charity Mind. His arrest last summer led to his resignation from Islington Council and the suspension of his party membership, and the party insists its internal investigation is frozen until the courts finish their work. But the stain of the association remains. There's also the wider culture to consider. Westminster is a hothouse, late nights, conference bars, endless networking. It's a fertile ground for manipulation, and the Charlie and Abby persona exploited this environment perfectly, trading on blurred memories and the mingling of professional and personal life. The Crown Prosecution Service's decision to charge Steadman reflects the seriousness of what has been uncovered. Malcolm McAfee, head of its Special Crime Division, said prosecutors had found sufficient evidence and that it was plainly in the public interest to proceed. The phrase matters. Blackmail is not just a private vice, it can destabilise institutions of government. So where does this leave us? 3 reflections. First, on vulnerability. Politicians are, despite appearances, often isolated. They're obvious targets for those who wish to entrap or exploit. That vulnerability is a national security issue. Second, on accountability, both parties must ask hard questions about their internal culture. Why was a young councillor entrusted with responsibility allegedly engaging in such behaviour? How robust are their vetting and support systems? Well, to judge from Mandelson, not very. And third, on public trust, scandals like this feed the narrative of Westminster as a place of sleaze and duplicity. At a time when faith in politics is already strained, such revelations are corrosive. Steadman will appear at Westminster Magistrates Court on the 3rd of November. The case will be scrutinised not only as a criminal trial, but as a test of how resilient our democratic culture is to exploitation from within. In the end, the honey trap scandal is not simply about WhatsApp flirtations gone wrong. It's about the ease with which political networks can be compromised, the fragility of trust in public life, and the ever-present danger of human weakness being turned into political leverage.